Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Queens Bros. I'm your host, Joe. Before we get started, if you could please ever so kindly just hit that like and subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate you all for all the support. And let's get started. So I want to start off with the Chicago White Sox and the monumental losing streak that they were just on. Finally, and I mean finally, that losing streak is broken. They finally beat the Oakland Athletics 5-1, and the 21 game losing streak is finally done with. But yo, this 2024 Chicago White Sox team is going to go down as one of the worst teams ever to play the game in baseball history. It's really a shame like how bad this team was this year, and obviously in their whole career they've never had a season this bad. And I think when it's all said and done, this might be the worst team that has ever played in the game of baseball. The 2024 White Sox will be one of the worst teams in baseball history. And to put the icing on top, they threw in a 21-game losing streak to put it all on top, to put the icing on the cake. Now, you know, I coach high school baseball, right? And that's just high school. Now, if I was a coach or a manager in professional sports, let's say baseball, for instance, and I'm coaching this White Sox team, and we are on a 21-game win streak, and we finally break that cycle, we finally win our first game, I wouldn't even know how to react. Like, how are you going to react after winning 21 games? Are you going to be happy? Are you going to be, like, I guess relieved? Like, you're going to be relieved, right? But, like, I would not know how to, like, approach myself. Like, you can't really show that you're too happy because, like, bro, like, it's an embarrassment of what just happened. You know what I mean? So, like, as a manager, I don't even know what my reaction would be for the cameras. Like, because you have all the cameras on you. It's very, like, cringy. Like, that was my whole thing when I was watching that game. I was looking at the manager. I was like, yo, how is this guy going to react? Or even the players. Like, how are they going to react? Like, what's going to be their momentum after winning this game? What like, are they going to throw their hands up in the air? Like, are they going to celebrate like they just won the World Series because they finally finished this whole thing? Like, it's tough. And by the way, the Oakland Athletics did something so savagery too in that game. They were playing that Taylor Swift song, 22. I think it's called 22, right? Because if they won that game, it would have been their 22 loss in a row. That is so savage by the Oakland Athletics. Especially, it's fitting coming from the Athletics. They're also not a good team. I know they're having a little bit of a better season this year, but the Oakland Athletics are getting kicked out of Oakland. That's how bad they've been. And they're like kind of like trolling the White Sox. So that's hilarious. But yeah, this White Sox team was atrocious. And I want to look at this real quick. All right? Because I was watching the game. I had to watch that game. I wanted to see if that losing streak kept going on. And yeah, I want to see this real quick. So I'm going to turn on the game right now, and I want to see the manager's reaction of, you know, everybody's reaction of when they got the win. We're going to start from the top of the ninth. The White Sox are batting. They're looking for some insurance, already at 4-1, and that is a base hit down the line, and that's going to be a double. Right fielder fields it off the wall, and he's in there with a double. Next pitch is a pass ball. I'm calling that a pass ball. I don't know if they call that wild pitch or pass ball, but I'm calling it a pass ball. Catcher caught that. He's safe at third. Catcher's wondering to himself, damn, bro, we're going to finally give this team a win. I can't believe this. We're going to be the first team to lose against these guys. And there's a base hit, and the White Sox get some insurance to go up 5-1. They're like, I don't know what this feels like. I can't believe it. We're about to win a game. Dude's like putting his hand up to his teammates. He's like, bro, we're finally going to win. These are diehards. These are White Sox fans showing up to Oakland with bags on top of their heads. These guys are still traveling even though their team is trash to see their team. There's a fly ball. The game is over. The game is over, and here's the reactions. There's the manager. This dude is walking, shaking hands. He has no idea how to react. Andrew Benintendi definitely just whispered to his teammate, bro, this team is trash. We finally won a game now. Let's get the hell out of here. They're giving pounds to each other, and that is it. The White Sox have finally won the game. And it's kind of cringy to me to watch, especially the manager, because he's just walking over to each other and to his teammates, you know, the players that he coaches, and he's just like, good job, guys, like kind of like this. He's kind of like nodding his head, and he doesn't know how to react. I would be the same way. I wouldn't know how to react if I was in that situation. To put the icing on top of the cake, after the game, bro, they finally got their first win. So I guess the White Sox were like, all right, let's try to wait for our first win, and then we're going to pull the trigger. And what do the White Sox do? We get an alert. The Chicago White Sox had fired their manager. The Chicago White Sox have fired their manager, Pedro Grifol, after team hits rock bottom. That's so crazy to me. I'm sorry. I find that insane that the White Sox waited to get their first win to say, you know what? Peace out, bro. You're gone. Like, I understand that the White Sox are not having a good season, but you could have either done it during the win streak or you could have done it at the end of the season. Just wait to the end of the season. But they pulled the trigger right after they get their first win. I find that hilarious. I don't know why. I don't know if anybody else finds that hilarious, but myself, finds that hilarious that they waited for the first victory and then they were like, you know what? Let's pull the trigger. You're gone, bro. Get the hell out of here. And that's exactly what the White Sox did. Oh, man. So I find that to be absurd, crazy, and let me know what you guys think about that. And if I'm not the only one thinking that that's kind of crazy to fire him after, they get their first win. Could have done it at a different time. Let the guy celebrate, bro. Let the guy celebrate, dude. They don't know what that feeling was. They don't remember what that feeling was like. It's been 21 games. They have no idea what it was like to get a win. So you get your first win, guys giving, shakes to everybody, handshakes to everybody, and then you're going to give the guy the hook. I don't know how I feel about that, White Sox. I don't know how I feel about that. All right? You're making the season look even worse than it is. Okay? Now, the Chicago White Sox, in my opinion, I honestly believe that the Chicago White Sox are going to break the all-time single-season loss record that there ever was in the history of baseball. I really believe that they are going to break it. This team is very pathetic. They just fired their manager, even though sometimes firing your manager can light a fire under your ass, can light a fire under your team. Okay, I've seen it from the Philadelphia Phillies. Okay, when they fired Joe Girardi, they just went on a complete monumental run into the World Series. Okay, so it has happened now. This team ain't going to the World Series. You know that. But it might light a fire under their ass to get some victories, get some wins, and not break the all-time single-season win-loss record that there ever was. Now, the team that holds this single-season record for the worst record in the history of baseball is honestly my team. The New York Mets hold the record for the most losses in the history of baseball with 120. This was done in 1962 when the Mets were an expansion team. The Mets first came out. They had a bunch of no-name players, and they were so terrible in that 1962 season. They lost 120 games. Could have been 124, to be honest, but 2 games were rained out, and they didn't play those 2 games. So they could have lost 2 extra games to make it 124 if they played those 2 extra games. But those 2 games were rained out. Now, let's go off of the White Sox record and the New York Mets record currently. The White Sox record right now is 28-89. The New York Mets record at this point, after 117 games, because that's how much the White Sox have played so far in total, the New York Mets record was 30-87. So if the New York Mets were playing today, the 1962 Mets was playing today with the White Sox, the Mets would actually be 2 games ahead of the White Sox in the standings. So the White Sox definitely can break this record if they continue the horrible pace that they have been on all season. They can break this record. And, I honestly never thought that record would be broken. It got very close. I want to say like 10 years ago, the Detroit Tigers got like 119 losses. And the only reason they didn't break it is because they got hot at the end of the season. I thought they were going to break it too. I thought that Detroit Tigers team was going to break it. And I think it was 119 losses that the Detroit Tigers got, barely edging the Mets. So I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen that the White Sox are going to break it, but if they continue the pace that they are on, continuously losing, and I know that they have a little bit of a tough stretch coming up. They got some tough teams coming up. I believe the Yankees are coming up. I know the Mets are coming up because I actually might go to that series. I'm thinking about going to Chicago to get some pizza and to watch the New York Mets play the Chicago White Sox. So they got some tough teams coming up, and we'll see what happens, man. But the Chicago White Sox are very putrid. I didn't even know that I knew some players on this team because when I was watching these games recently, because I wanted to see if they were going to break the record, I didn't even know Andrew Benintendi was on that team. I had no idea that that man was on this team. I just said to myself, I don't know nobody on this team, maybe except for Luis Roberts. You know what I mean? Like, it's come to a point where I thought I didn't know anybody on the Chicago White Sox. That's how bad that team is. And obviously Garrett Crochet, who's I can't believe he didn't get traded at the trade deadline. That was crazy to me. But this White Sox team needs some help, and maybe firing their manager was what they needed. That could be. We don't know. We don't know how it is, but that could be the lightning in the bolt that they needed. Who knows? Going off on the New York Mets, my team, we lost the first game to the Rockies. We have to win this series. The New York Mets cannot lose the series to the Rockies. Another loss of a series to another shitty team because we lost the series to the Angels. It can't happen. If you're going to make the playoffs, you got to beat the shitty teams. You can't lose to the teams that you should beat on. Now, the Mets usually play good against good teams. It's like they play down to their competition. You know what I mean? I don't understand why they do this. Now, in the MLB, everybody is a good ball player because it's the MLB. These are the best players in the world. But your players are better than their players. The New York Mets are better than the Colorado Rockies. Okay? You got to beat them. You have to take advantage of them. And the Mets have not really been scoring these last two games. That is annoying to me because you're in Colorado. The ball flies in Colorado. Colorado is an offensive juggernaut. You have to hit in that ballpark. Okay, and we're not doing it right now. So we have to win this series. It's very important that the New York Mets do not lose another series to another shitty team. Okay, it's going to piss me off, and it's going to piss a lot of other New York Mets fans off. We got to win the series. We have to take advantage. Okay, very important. Francisco Lindor, I can't say enough good things about him. The dude continues to play well. He continues to kill it for us. He continues to get big hits. Ever since Francisco Lindor went into the leadoff spot, he has been a complete force for the New York Mets, and he's a big reason we are where we are today. So anybody that has talked shit about Francisco Lindor, please apologize. Please take that back. Please bow down to this man because he is so underrated in the game of baseball. Okay? I'm sorry to say it. Francisco Lindor is extremely underrated. And the reason why I say he's underrated is because he gets so much smack talked about him. People talk so much shit about him and don't appreciate the greatness that they're watching from this man. Now, I'm not going to say Francisco Lindor is better than, let's say, Bobby Witt. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say he's better than Gunnar Henderson. I'm not going to say that. But he's right there with guys like Trey Turner, okay? He's right there with that kind of caliber. That's the guy that Francisco Lindor is, okay? So he's got to stop. You got to stop talking shit about him because he is the truth, bro. And he is the reason why the Mets are where they are, okay? Very, very good ball player. And I love him at shortstop. He fields everything. He's a completely full package as you need. And he's stealing a lot of bases too. He might get 30-30 again this year for the second time in a row. You know how good that is? You know, and for people to talk smack about him, I think he's second? I don't know. Don't quote me. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I think he's second in WAR from shortstops. I think only Ellie De La Cruz is in front of him. I think that's it. I believe from the last time I checked. I believe only Ellie De La Cruz is in front of him when it comes to FWAR in the league. So, you know, the guy's playing great, bro. Especially since he moved to that leadoff spot. All right, that's where we got to keep him. And if he continues to go the way he's going, you know, the Mets could do some damage because when Francisco Lindor plays well, the Mets play well. When Francisco Lindor sucks, the Mets suck. And that's the sad truth. That's the sad truth about the situation with Lindor. If he's not playing well, Mets ain't playing well. And that's why in the beginning of the year, when Francisco Lindor was like 0 for the century, the New York Mets were 0 for the century. And the New York Mets were horrible in the beginning of the year because Francisco Lindor was horrible in the beginning of the year. So the New York Mets need Francisco Lindor play well, and if he keeps continuing what he's doing, try to release the pressure, take the pressure off of him, just have fun with it. You're gonna do big things, and you're gonna do big things for our team, and you're gonna do big things for our city, bro. Okay, so let's keep doing what you're doing, dude. Let's keep doing it. Let's keep it up. Okay. I don't know. Has anybody been watching the Olympics? Anybody been watching the Olympics? The Olympics is a very funny thing. I find it hilarious because I'll be watching sports that I didn't even know existed. Like I just turn on the Olympics every day. I just watch it. I'm an athletic guy. I'm a sports guy. I just turn it on no matter what's on. If volleyball's on, that's one of the main ones I watch. I love watching the volleyball. They be hitting that ball, bro, like you have no idea. Like 200 miles per hour. For anybody that says volleyball is an easy game, go check out the Olympic volleyball teams, okay? You know, like sometimes like you'll watch baseball and you'll see, I don't know, Francisco Lindor field the ground ball or make a diving play and people be like, damn, he made that look easy. These volleyball players, they do what they got to do, but it doesn't look easy. It still looks hard. Like, I was watching the other day, dude threw the ball up to serve, like a jump serve, like 100 feet in the air. Jumped up, smacks it like 150 miles per hour, and the dude just receives it straight up to the setter. I have no idea how they do that. No idea. The ball's going like 150 miles per hour, kind of like towards the dome too. They'll like have to jump up and then hit it right up to setter. It's ridiculously challenging. But besides that, that's like the main one I watch. I'll be watching sports. Like the other day I was watching a sport where they had like a pebble. They had like a pebble and they were trying to throw the pebble into like a cup. I was like, the hell am I watching? I don't even know what the name of the game was. I was just watching a guy who was throwing a pebble. I'm like there watching, I'm getting into it. I'm like, yo, let's go. I'm like, come on, bro, come on, you can do it. And I've never seen this game in my life. Never seen it. And there's a bunch of other ones. I'll just be watching them and I'm like, this is actually a sport that they actually play professionally. And then today, I was watching field hockey. I teach field hockey to my kids, hockey where you're running around. You're not on skates. And I'm like, I didn't know field hockey was a professional thing. I really didn't know that. I thought people just do it for fun. But they're playing it in the Olympics. And I'm watching this and I'm like, yo, these guys are like trucking each other. They're like dropping elbows. They're hitting each other. And people are falling to the ground. Now I just saw a fight break out. I saw a fight break out today in field hockey in the Olympics. I was like, yo, they're taking the hockey on ice to actually on the ground. And they're just, and the size of this field hockey court looked like a freaking football field, bro. It was like, the size of a football field. It was crazy. Or maybe, let me say, a soccer field. Soccer/football is the same thing. That's how big it was. It was so insane. I'm just watching this. I'm like, I never knew that this was a professional sport. I'm watching water polo. Never watched water polo in my life. Okay, it's pretty much, from what I saw, it's pretty much European handball, but in the water. And I'm guessing the water is deep, like, because they look like they're kind of floating when they don't have the ball. You know what I mean? Like, they're treading water. And I'm watching these females. They're playing water polo, and I'm getting into it. I'm like, yo, let's go. Pass it, that person's wide open. Pass it. And I'm going hard at these games. Never seen any of these games in my life. Ever. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the Olympics. It's a good time. The men's basketball, I think, is a complete, like, I feel like Team USA is just so stacked. Like, how do you beat that team? You know what I mean? Team USA men's basketball. You got Curry. You got Devin Booker. That's his name, right? Devin Booker. For those of you who don't know, I'm not huge with basketball, but I believe that's him. You have Curry. You have LeBron. I believe KD too, right? KD's playing. Yeah, it's like all the best players, dude. It's all the best players. My boy Giannis had to play for Greece, trying to carry that team himself, and just they got pretty deep, but just couldn't do it. Just couldn't put the team on his back. You know what I mean? He tried, but he couldn't do it. And on that note, I was hearing the other day that in the 2028 Olympics, softball and baseball are going to be added to the list of sports being played. this is huge. I was talking to my boys the other day that why isn't baseball a thing in the Olympics? And my boy told me, which makes sense, MLB would never release their players to play in the Olympics for a month. Totally makes sense. I agree to that. But from what I read the other day, they are doing it in the 2028 Olympics. Now, it's probably a little easier because the 2028 Olympics is going to be held in Los Angeles, which is in our country, in the United States of America. So it's probably a little bit easier, especially for guys who are on the Dodgers to play. Because from what I heard, Shohei Ohtani expressed interest in playing. Because, Ohtani would do Ohtani loves playing for his country. You could tell in the WBC, like, when they won that championship, especially since Ohtani has never really been in a championship position while being in the United States, he was hyped, bro. So he loves playing for his country, and he already expressed interest in playing in the 2028 Olympics. So that would be cool. But what I don't get is how are they going to release their players? Like, are they going to just stop baseball for a whole month and teams are just not going to play for that whole month? Or are they going to release their players to play in the Olympics while leaving their team without their best players? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't see baseball teams saying, okay, cool. The Mets saying, all right, Francisco Lindor, you could go play for Puerto Rico while we take care of business over here. You're good to go do that. I can't see the Mets allowing that when they're paying the man $325 million. You get what I mean? I just can't see that, You got all these high-praised ball players, okay, getting paid this money. Like, think about Juan Soto. Juan Soto would love to play in the Olympics. He'll love to play for the Dominican Republic. But next year, Juan Soto, whoever takes him, whoever gets him, is going to be paying this man almost like $600 million a year. And you're just going to release him for a month to go play in the Olympics. I don't know how the teams are going to feel about that. So I'm very curious to see how they're going to incorporate baseball and softball. Or, on a better note, if they don't want to release their players and they want to, take a guy that would play for Team USA, used to play third base, kind of threw out his shoulder a little bit, but so I can't really make the throw from third to first anymore. I tore my shoulder coaching baseball. But if they want to take this guy and, maybe put him at second, even first base, you're looking at him. Olympics. If these guys don't want to get released and you want somebody to play in the Olympics on the biggest stage of them all for their country, okay, I love the United States of America. I bleed red, white, and blue. You're looking at him. Okay? So this message goes out to anybody running the Olympics for that United States team. Okay, I don't know who's coaching it. Mark DeRosa, you coach the Team USA and the WBC. If you want a guy, okay, he's a spunky little ball player. Okay, I know where to spot the ball. I'm kind of like a Tony Gwynn style. Okay, I know how to bunt. I know how to hit where I want to hit. And if you want a guy like that, maybe at the top of your order, maybe batting second, put me batting before, maybe let's say Aaron Judge. I see good pitches. Line drives, baby. Line drives. Other way, all day. Okay? Shohei Ohtani's pitching against me, especially coming off Tommy John. He's got no shot. No shot against me. Okay? So if you want a nice spunky ball player, if the MLB is not releasing most of their stars, okay, hit me up. I'm down. I am down to go out there in the Olympics and take care of business for my country. Okay? And I ain't getting paid what these ball players are getting paid. Okay? I'm getting paid a teacher salary. I'm a teacher. Okay? So if you want that to happen, let me know. I'll play in the Olympics for you. I have no problem with that. Okay? But anyway, guys, that's my show today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed listening to me. All right. Comment down below anything you want to hear me talk about next. Okay. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate you all. Peace out, guys. Have a good one.